Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, I am a little bit late for our SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. But Venezuela, what does that mean? It's far, far away, a few thousand miles, if you had to walk and be an immigrant coming into America. And what's the fallout? What fallout, some would say? Stock market record high on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Are you kidding me? Mayhem across the world. Stock market still rises. What does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What game do you need to be playing in? And welcome. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's. Information and wondering what the hell is going on. This 2026 is here, and you have full advantage for 11 months, 26 days. Full advantage at your disposal to create wealth. And again, if anybody's out here saying they can't do it, well, there's tools that can help you. First things first, reduce your debt. Get your debt down close to zero as possible. So then you have disposable income to make investments like Valero today because of Venezuela increased, because there's people speculating who is going to be able to mess around with these oil fields. But again, is it really about oil? Oil is on its way out. Why do I say this? You have to pay attention to tea leaves. Do you think OPEC is cutting production or letting the flow of oil go out? I have news for you. They are cutting production because as EVs start taking control in more countries, less oil is being consumed. So, in order for them to keep the price higher, they have to cut production. Does this make any sense to you? So then United States does this move, obviously terrorism on a global scale, and they kidnap a leader, and now they're talking about we might want to run it. Then they walk back and say, well, we'll take second in command from Maduro to run it. And I'm like, what's the difference? Does it really matter to the American stock market? Hell no. All they're looking for is profits. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And that's why you need to ride that trail, ladies and gentlemen. First things first, make sure you go findhelp.org. That's right. It's exactly what it sounds like. If you're in America, you have a zip code, put it in when you go to findhelp.org and look at all the things that American citizens can receive in free help or a cost that is minimal for help. We're talking about rent payments. We're talking about mortgage payments. We're talking about caregiving. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about job training. We're talking about medical as well. So again, go to findhelp.org. You need bus passes to get around. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, depending on what city you live in, there could be lots of help out there. That is the first part of the equation. Second part, we want you to reduce your debt, right? This is mandatory for 2026 because inflation is going to get higher. Who do you think is going to pay for all this madness happening in Venezuela? American taxpayers. But then again, the American taxpayers can't pay it either. So now what are we going to do? The United States is going to print more money, which causes inflation. So if you think inflation is going to come down, I got bad news for you. You better figure out where you're going to get the passive income to come in to replace these higher costs that's about to occur or is occurring as we speak. Nothing's coming down. So again, CEOs, OCs, and in case you're new here, OCs is ordinary citizens, you guys better figure it out quickly, because on the other side of 11 months and 26 days, which will make it 2027, we are going to be in the dawn of a new era, because this cycle should almost be petering out and people are going to be freaking out. Just like now when they got their premiums for the ACA, Affordable Health Care Act. Now that people got their premiums rolling in, their new premiums that are 2x, 3x, and 4x higher. Oh my, we told you what was going to happen, and you still fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Craziness out here, people doing crazy things in order to think they're going to get ahead. Voting to harm others is very bad. And by the way, voting to harm others actually hurts your country. I don't know about you. Nobody really wants to go live in North Korea, do they? Seriously? I don't know about you. A lot of people say they want to go live in Russia, these American people. Well, they get to have the life that they wanted to go live in. I don't think too many people saying, hey, I want to go live in Saudi Arabia, especially if you're females. Now let's get real. All right, let's get real. You better figure out what country you live in, because the United States is not your grandparents' United States. It is not even your parents' United States of America. There is no way you're going to work at a job 25 years and get a pension. If you are now in your 20s to 30s, by the time you're 55, you know what the stats say? 3.9 years is what you're going to have a job for. 3.9 years right now. So somebody out there, fantasy land, thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to work for 25, 30 years and I'm going to get a pension. Guess what? Good luck. You won't have a pension, because this government is against unions. This government is against regulation. So you better figure out if you're going to be the CEO. So you're going to start your business. You're going to figure out what you're going to do, which is going to be high risk, high rewards. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, the comment section is open. I'm on it tonight because you know I'm late tonight. I'm very, very sorry. But again, I had to come on. We got family issues that I'm trying to deal with, trying to get somebody back to health. My aunt. That's right. So again, when somebody says you're not going to have health care, when somebody says we have a concept of health care, but we're going to take away health care from people, even though we have a concept, but we have no plan, that is not the way you're going to operate in this environment with the stock market, are you? Are you going to seriously sit there and go, oh, this is a viable option? Let me have a concept of stock market information and acting upon that information. I got a concept, but you ain't going to do nothing? Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be foolish out here. All right? This is Stop Struggling Now. We need you to win. First things first, get your free shares of stock from Robinhood and Webull if you haven't already. Some of you may be going, Eric, I don't want to talk about stocks. Okay, fine. Well, I'm about to drop you something. You can mess with Wealthfront. You can go buy VOO. You can go buy VTI. You can go buy VGT, if you want to get into some Vanguard groups that have low expenses so they don't take away, 20% of your money over 20 years because they don't have 1% expense fees. That's right. You heard me. So their fees are below 1%, but still check, because I'm pretty sure they might be like, hey, the record highs on the stock market. Maybe we should charge a little more because people are going to be happy that the stock market keeps moving up. All right. So first things first, why don't I do this? Because I went ahead of the curve here. Remember that findhelp.org? It's in the chat room in case anybody shows up You can always get in the chat room. There's a link. All right. Also, if you watch this on mobile replay, you see the first comment. You can't find the live chat to get the links. Then you must tap on the first comment and then all of a sudden scroll to the left. And then you'll see a live chat option on most of the live stream videos. So that's one of the things you need to do. So that's the first thing. We need you. The grants are down below. Our man, Matthew Lesko, he's the one that came on almost a year ago to tell us about findhelp.org, 211.org for mental health. I couldn't believe what he's saying. I'm like, man, I've been trying to help people for 50 years, ever since I was this high. And I never heard of anything called Find Help. But yet an immigrant can come in and they have people sharing signs that says, this is what can help you in America. But Americans don't have, here's signs, this can help you, Americans in America. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Go give billionaires and millionaires subsidies, tax cut, tax breaks. Sure, why not? Meanwhile, they get a free government contract. They get free subsidies. They get free tax cut, tax breaks. In fact, their corporations, if they have a great accounting department, can pay zero taxes on billions of dollars. But you're out of luck. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, findhelp.org. Very, very powerful, very, very helpful. And that's why I find it awesome when he came on. Second thing, I've been having a conversation with another SSN Nation member, and he started spouting what Russia spouted, that America is going to change their currency, or the debt that we have, $40+ trillion debt, that they're going to turn it over into crypto somehow. And I'm pretty sure there's some people watching this right now thinking that that may be a good idea. I'm just going to ask you one thing and one thing only. When you guys have money and you put it in a bank, you know, when you opened up your bank account, you signed that that money was no longer yours, is in the terms of conditions. You signed it over because you know you're not really reading it. Just sign here, sir. You sign it over. So when you, being newbies, and you get rich and all that, money start piling up, and all of a sudden you roll to the bank and you say, hey, I need 35 G's. And they're looking at you like, what do you need the money for, sir? What's that of your business? You would respond, right? What do you need the money for, sir? Oh, sir, did anybody try to scam you or try to, you know? And oh, by the way, we can't give you the 35,000, but come back, or we got to make an appointment to give you your money. But we can give you like 10 G's right now. But the rest, we got to make an appointment. I don't know about some of you watching, but I'm pretty sure this may have happened to some of you. Because the money is their money after you signed it off. So when a government starts talking to me about, oh, we're going to have crypto and we're going to put it into stable coins and we're going to do all this magical BS, again, just remember, central exchanges, they're regulated by the same people that regulate banks. So once again, you want to take out your money, and they're going to be going, maybe we'll wait 3 or 4 or 5 or 2 weeks because we think somebody messed with your account. We don't even think it's you. Send us some documentation. You see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen? So again, they can turn the faucet off on you. So you better start thinking about what you are going to plan to do as this Venezuela thing goes down this path. All right, here we are once again. I dropped something over here. EV Places in the house. Renewable energy resources is here, and a real estate investor, and a stock market investor, and an investor businessman all the way around. He's the CEO on a massive scale, and very happy to see you once again, and welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. So thank you so much. Once again, let me bring the tagline. Good evening. I hope you all are doing well. Enjoy the ride. Exactly right, EV Place. You had to be in place in order to enjoy the ride. We've been saying, buy the dip, get in the stock market. That's what we've been saying for 2.5 years. Everybody said, I don't know. Well, I don't care. Look who's in power. Oh my God. Like that's going to change. Where you guys been? The Federal Reserve's sole purpose is to make sure the rich guys keep winning. Do you know who formed the Federal Reserve? Rich guys, billionaires, to make sure that they have a piece of all companies, all assets on the planet. Hopefully that explains it. Once you understand who your ops are, then you understand you need to be with them or against them. And being against them is hazardous to your financial wealth. You have to be in with them. We can't have the top 10% of the wealthiest owning 93% of the stock market and the rest of us owning 7%. Are we serious right now? That's why we need to get that number down. And that's why you need to invest in this stock market and crypto and everything that they're putting their money into, because you need to follow the lead until you don't need to. But in the meantime, let them build your wealth. BlackRock, Blackstone, whoever else is out here, Vanguard, all these guys, they're out here buying stocks. They're out here buying equities. Even the Federal Reserve's out here buying equities. And EV Play says, let me create my own business. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. The renewable energy business. That's right. For your speakers in your car. How about that? That's right. Hold on. I'm going to give you a link, ladies and gentlemen. It goes over to eBay. That goes to what he's producing. He produces renewable energy for your speaker system so you can run your speakers 1 hour, 2 hours, or more without running down your battery. How do you do that? When you're driving your car, it renews your renewable energy pack in the back. Crispy, clear sound. And you can cut your car off for a couple of hours or more, depending on if you want to tear it up and make sure you have more power, 700 watts of clean power and energy, and you can scale it up. Go check him out. Right here's the link in the chat room. Go show some love. He has that icon. That means he's a member of the channel. And that's right. We have memberships now on the channel. We're back. So thank you so much, EV Place. And Mr. Worldwide 2, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the house. And again, real estate investor, stock market investor, crypto investor. And both of these two gentlemen, offshore business, real estate, banking. As we say here, you better have accounts outside of America, outside the United States jurisdiction. You better have real estate or a business outside the United States jurisdiction, I would advise. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hi, all. Let's do this, with the icon next to his name as well, which I greatly appreciate, humbly appreciate. And very, very happy to see you once again, because I know you were sitting there today doing the salsa dance like, is this happening right now? That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. How about that stock market today? Stay in and get ready to take off. That's right. We've been saying it. And the Federal Reserve is going to increase or decrease the rates this year. How about that? This is even better than expected. This is going swimmingly well. This is so funny. It's like clockwork. It's like we didn't know. It's like we didn't know. Again, you have 11 months, 26 days to make sure you get everything in order. All right? You still have time. Time is not up. There's no reversal happening here. All right? So if you're new here, it's very simple. Trump is going to appoint, after Jerome Powell steps down, his term is up, or his term is up. So now this new sycophant is going to take his place. The sycophant says, we want to go to 0% interest rates. So again, just to be clear, this is not good for you. You want to know why it's not good for you? Because if you planned on saving money, you're going to have to pay the bank to save money, which means you can't save money. You have them holding your money. It's going to be an IOU. They're going to go 0%, but we're collecting fees now. You're not getting perks. We've seen this play out already in the EU when they went to 0%, and then it went negative. Oof. And people had hundreds of thousands of dollars or more in a bank, and the bank is sending them a monthly statement saying, I'm sorry, you owe us $100. So you know what that happened? You know what made that situation in the EU? The EU had to finally do the euro. That's how bad it got because these clowns are doing the same thing here in America now. Don't worry, don't worry. We got you covered though. There's always something you can do. But the thing is, how funny this is, history already shows you what happens when you go to 0%. So what happened is people said, oh man, I can't make, they're taking my money every month. So I can't leave it out here in a bank or anything. So what am I going to do? You're going to do just what everybody would do. You're going to put it in the stock market in the EU. Okay. Stock market is where you're going to put your money. So what happened? They had a stock market boom. But now people don't have the cash flow. Guess who had all the money? The rich guys own the companies. Their stock prices increased. So now, when those London downtown homes that previously were 200 G's, now all of a sudden, these rich guys that didn't have nothing better to do because, they visit their corporations downtown, their headquarters, and they said, we'll just buy it for 1.5. People were like, what? Wait a minute. My house is only worth 200 G's. You're going to pay me 1.5 for it? Yeah, why not? We're rolling with money like we're at the strip joint, throwing it around. You know what happened? Downtown London, nobody can live there as an ordinary citizen. All the regular old homes has outpriced the pay scale for the employees. The neighborhoods are empty. That is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. So now that you know the history, now you know why you only have a certain amount of time to either get in and play or sit on the sidelines, let the parade go by, and talk about to your grandkids and great grandkids it coulda, shoulda, woulda. You better get in right now. All right, Brian P. Mr. Dividend is also doing the salsa dance because I know he got his dividends on Friday and today because that weekly dividend from Yomax ETFs are awesome. And he brings his tagline this evening. Happy day, Eric. I hope all is well with you and your family. Thank you. It is. Happy day, SSN family. Smash that like button. Oh, how can I forget? Give it a one piece. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. A one piece does a familiar good. And what do I mean by that? Is sometimes, I do not condone violence, but sometimes you have to give a stern shake, a rattle, and say, hey, man, we better follow. We better follow the rich guys. You better follow. You better be paying attention because after they reduce the Federal Reserve rate, the rich guys get to borrow at a lower rate. You also might be able to borrow at a little lower rate as well, but the rich guys get that 1%, 2%. Oh my God. Can you imagine what you can buy with 1% or 2% interest only for 15 years? Do you understand that you could buy like a $3 million house and have a 1% loan at interest only? So don't you think that's going to balloon the value of everything? Because that's the normal thing that people do. They say, well, since it can fit my budget, I'll just buy it because it's a monthly payment. Ha, got you. That's what they're saying. I got you because now you're in debt. You're in debt. I got you. Okay. You guys following? All right. Very happy to see you, Brian P. We are making money in here. That's exactly right. That's what we're trying to do. How about XRP plus 27% in a week? Hey, it was down to 186. That's all I can say. $2 and something, perfectly fine. It's a stable coin. Well, no, not really. It's not really a stable coin, but nonetheless, XRP. We remember though it was $3, so don't get all like crazy. I'm not I'm going to order the Bancus card. Thank you so much for that. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up. Because remember when I told you guys that you're going down here, open up bank accounts, and they take your money. Now people are listening to this nonsense about, you should all have this crypto and sign up with these central exchanges, and we regulate them, and we're going to have stable coins, and it's going to be backed by nothing, because you remember the dollar is an actual debt instrument. It's not real, it's debt. So they're going to try and transfer the $40 trillion into some sort of stable coins, but that means that stable coins will now be debt if they do that. So you're not getting out of anything, but what they will do is decrease the value of the dollar and increase inflation. And then crypto may not even be real. And what I mean, it's not real in the first place. But what I'm trying to say is it's not going to be real, just like when the Fed prints more money. So now what are you going to do? You're going to print more stable coins and then peg it to some mystical dollar? This is going to be very dangerous waters. And guess what? Once they go digital on your ass and you're in America or China or EU under regulated markets, then that means if you do anything like in China, you do a traffic light, run it, they just take it out of your account. There's no, you get to have an account. No, they just take it because there's no real thing, because they control the bank too. You're not taking it out the bank either. You owe that $50 for that traffic ticket. So they just take it instead. That's where we're heading, ladies and gentlemen. So again, I don't like central exchanges. Do you? I don't like banks either. Do you? All right. The Bancus card. What he's talking about is a prepaid crypto card. So you can download your crypto to the card, and it's a Visa card and a debit card. So I might as well bring it up because on Tuesday, there's going to be 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern time is a Zoom call. So you guys can check it out and get some more information. But I appreciate you bringing it up and going over to the order. They have two cards. It's the plastic card that's tap features. I should have mine in about 4 or 5 days. And it costs $45 shipped. All right. That's the first thing. Or you can get a metal card. And by the way, I just put in EV Places eBay link, which I thought I put it in earlier. And go over there. If you're like your speaker system to be improved greatly, then I highly suggest you go check this out, because clean energy, crispy sound with the inductors, it's like nothing else. So just make sure you handle that. Now, also, I put in the Bancus card link. That's right. There's a referral link. You can actually make money doing this too, but I don't really care about that part. What I care about is it's outside of the United States. It's in Mexico. So outside of the US, my crypto goes there, does not go through a central exchange. Nobody's business what I'm doing on the trading market. So that's why I use CoinEx. But nonetheless, here's what we do. Because you can upload crypto to your account, CoinEx account, do trading. I can download it to my crypto card. It has a Visa logo, so I can use it anywhere in the world. Some people started saying, well, I can track you. I'm like, are you serious? There's like a trillion, not a trillion. There's millions of transactions a day. You think the government's going to be sitting there doing what? Doing what? Seriously, you guys give the government way too much credit. These guys have way too much of your information. That's how they're able to track stuff, because you're giving them a video picture of you when you're signing up on accounts now. Some people are giving fingerprints. You're on social media, you're giving where your locations are, where you're living, where you're going on vacation. You're giving all these people all kind of information. You need to be doing this. Just like when a cop pulls you over while you're driving and he comes up and says, do you know how fast you were going? You should be responding more to this. I don't answer questions. Give me my ticket. That's it. You should not be answering questions. Shall we look in your car? And if you don't want us to look in your car, oh, wait, hold on. I smell weed. See, this right here. I thought I did something wrong with the vehicle. Now you're trying to ask me all these questions, and now you're smelling something invisible stuff that there's no weed in the car, no weed, nothing, nothing. Now all of a sudden you're smelling something that doesn't even exist, and I'm supposed to trust you. Yeah, I think not. Okay, give me my ticket. I don't need. You ain't smelling nothing because I'm not into none of that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you better find out where you live because things are about to get a little more dicier. When you have situations where people are going to go to another country and kidnap uh, leaders, terrorism, you might want to think about if they're going to do that to other people on a global scale, then you might want to start thinking about, well, I'm just a little guy. Man, you better want to think about that Palantir company that has facial recognition software on roads, on immigration offices, police. When they pull you up, they have all your banking information. That's right. Do you hear me? Your banking information. Yeah. So they know if they arrest you and they go, oh man, this dude only has like, oh man, he's like 60% of the population. He doesn't even have $500 in any of these bank accounts. I think we can mess with him because we know we're not going to get sued. See how this works, ladies and gentlemen? You better start protecting yourselves. All right. I have the Bancus card with the US Zoom. You can make money at this because you can refer other people and people have to upload, right? Like I send money, they take 4%, which is a hefty fee, I might add. That's a hefty fee. And the reason why it's a hefty fee is because they give like 1% to people that referred you for the upload. Then there's, I don't know the actual breakdown because that's not my thing. It's networking kind of thing, but I don't care about that, nor should you really care about that. What you should care about is you want to make sure the government doesn't know what the hell you're doing with your money. If it's crypto or if it's dollar bills, that's why you need a duffel bag of cash, not in your home, somewhere that you know you can go get it. Because I'm just going to say what I have to say, just like I've been telling people for life. All these people start going, well, I got my stash of weapons. I got my safe in the house, yada, yada, yada. Have you guys paid attention to what ICE is doing? So when somebody pulls up on you while you're driving, bangs into your ride, blocks you with another one or two cars, grabs you, and takes you off to some concentration camp in parts unknown, explain to me, since they know your address, how the crap sitting at your house is not going to be stolen by these same individuals. This is what I tried to tell people before, but people would not listen. They said, oh, no, man, I got all this stuff. Dude, you ain't getting to your house. What are you talking about right now? Again, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you better get on board. And that's why the Bankers card is very major because it's in Mexico City, outside the United States jurisdiction. It's not in USA regulation. That's just a short word for me for stealing your stuff. So, again, and when I do trading, I'm using Coinex. Coinex is also not a regulated broker in this United States. So I upload my crypto, USDT, BTC, whatever I want, USDC, Litecoin, a bunch. And then my friends would say, Eric, you know it's trackable. I'm like, how's it track? What are you talking? I said, first of all, how's it's trackable is because I'm using the SEX, Central Exchange. That's regulated. So the Central Exchange reports to the United States government that Eric sent X amount of dollars over to this crypto address because here's the transaction ID on the blockchain. They say, oh, nice. That must mean that is Coinex's because he's talking about it on YouTube. So that must be Coinex. Then they go, darn, Coinex is not our jurisdiction. Damn it, Coinbase. Why didn't you just hold the money another week or two? Why just hold it for 4 or 5 days? Why did you hold it for another week or two? Now we can't track because Coinex is not in our jurisdiction. And by the way, what happened after he hit that transaction number? They're like, nothing. there's nothing sent back to his account. Damn it. We can't even track it. And then my friends go, oh, they can track you. Well, that's another thing for another day. Because the problem is, if you don't send somebody back on the same transaction ID that you already know, and you don't know about the other person's crypto accounts, and they use that one to send the money back, then it does not correlate. It's simple as that. This is not rocket science. People are acting like these guys have some sort of magic act. They don't have a magic act. They just know when they're reading your texts, because a lot of people, when they're sending each other money, they say, hey, man, you got the money. And so they know because you signed up with cell phone service, unless you had burners, but you have a cell phone service. Most people. So they're not thinking this is how they're tracking you because they can check your text messages. All right, this is not the class to do this in. This is not the night. We got Venezuela. We got stock market record highs. We need you to be in the stock market, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this is about. And getting the Bancus card is just the beginning of the rest of your life. And you can make money, like I said, because every time somebody buys the card, you make money a little. I mean, they're giving kibbles and bits, $2 or $3 or $1, whatever. Then when somebody uploads the card, out of the 4% fee, they're giving like 1%. But again, watch Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's in the chat room is the link, and down below in the replay. And just find that out, okay? And in that way, you'll be good. Now, anybody have any questions? The chat room open. We can always have conversation here, ladies and gentlemen. Silver today, $77. That means it went up. By the way, because of that Venezuela situation. Oh man, I'm gonna make a video. I gotta make a video. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tonight. I gotta show you guys something. Oh, I gotta show you guys. I don't know if I can show you because I thought this was very, very wild. This little stat here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Is this it? Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is institutions are reducing dollar exposure, according to Bloomberg. This is foreign currency reserves. Look at the cliff coming down because they don't believe in the dollar. Do you see this right here? You see this? Are you guys paying attention yet? We have something else going on. We have a lot of stuff going on in the background that people don't even pay attention to. How about this one? How about this one, ladies and gentlemen? Why do you think foreign banks are deciding to have an uptick with the gold holdings? Do you see that right there? Foreign banks hold more gold than treasuries. They're saying sayonara. Are you getting it yet? Are you getting it yet? So, regardless of the all time stock market record highs, the rest of the world is going, you guys are really going to do the damn thing. You're going to create more inflation. We don't trust it anymore. We're holding treasuries, not no more. We're going to go with gold. And that's why gold's going to continue to rise. That's why silver's going to continue to rise. And that's why you should have a little bit of gold and silver. All right? Just a little. Because again, if somebody comes to your house, you're not carrying bags of gold and silver around to leave. Come on. Okay. Hi. All right. Enough. Let's go. Silver. Thank you so much for that. And no, I have not checked my account today because I asked Mr. Dividend. I haven't checked because you already put in a recall for something. I just had to ignore it because every day, because government situation right now, they don't care about it. They don't inspectors. They're not doing jack crap, and there's going to be five recalls a day probably. That's going to be reported. And American citizens, now that you no longer have health care, because can you really afford to pay 3 to 4 times the amount? Can you really go from paying $300 a month to $1,000? Asking for OCs. Again, people voted for this. I'm just saying, I wasn't one of them. But we had enough people voting for this. Now you're about to reap what you sowed. And the rich guys are sitting there, sitting on their nice perches, going, man, we pulled it off. These people literally just giving us our carte blanche. They're giving us money. We're taking it from the bottom 70% to pay us. We're not even contributing hardly to this society, but we get to reap the rewards better than anybody. And we're holding down employees' wages, and we're about to replace them in about 4 years. After we get this robot thing going, oh my God, it's going to be lights out for everybody that does not have a personal skill, such as stock market trading, who does not have a personal skill on myriads of ways. It's very hard. 95% of people that's in day trade not for the faint of heart. So that's a very hard situation. So what do people do? They sell the Pixes and Axes, classes, webinars, buy this book, because it's a lot harder to sustain a trading lifestyle. But you know what else is a lot harder to sustain? When you live in the most litigious litigious country in the world. By the way, you guys, you got a preview on the video I'm breaking out. It's going to be having these gold and what the other countries are doing, that people are in America don't realize what's happening, because the rug pull is going to come. And the rug pull isn't going to be by the United States government, which they've already done. They've already started it. They've already transferred the lower 50% of the wealth to the upper 10% already. But the rest of the world is sitting there going, we're not going to be holding that garbage treasuries. We're not, no, hold on, man. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. We're not going to be holding on to this. You see what these guys are doing now? They're trying to talk about using crypto to pay off their debt, which is, what is that? Electronic money? And if your electricity's off, okay, nice. Okay. I'm thinking, looking out for my country, which is my family, me, and I'm looking out for other people as well. But I'm sitting out here saying, it's the writings on the wall. These guys have no interest in making sure the bottom 80, 90% of Americans that live in this country are going to be able to survive. They're just worried about their top 5% to 10% of those wealthy people. And they don't even mind controlling 70, 80% of the wealth. You wouldn't either, would you? Oh, man. Ugh. The bottom 50% has hardly any wealth, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. The bottom 50%. If we have a country of 350 million people, 175 million people have no wealth, unless you call $13,000 wealth. I'm just saying. And what's even worse, from 50% to 90%, the wealth is 300 and some odd $1,000. Uh, that's not going to cut it. But when you get to the big boys, 90 to 99%, At least their wealth is 3 point something million dollars on average. But then when you get to the top 1%, $15 million average for the top 1%. And never mind the 0.1% because it's way higher than that. I don't have that actual number, but just giving you guys an idea here on why you should be very, very, very concerned. All right, let me get over here to this beef recall situation because we need to find out who it is, where it is. It says it's in 6 states, thousands of pounds of meat affected. USDA announces ground beef recall. People have already been affected by this, right? This is after the fact because we don't have people that's going to go out here and tell. We don't have journalism like we used to. All right. That's why this is very, very scary. It's beyond scary. Forward Farm, almost 3,000 pounds of ground beef from Forward Farms have been recalled in 6 states. The recalled meat may contain E. coli. Ooh, ooh, pathogen that can infections. Check your fridge and freezer for recall meat and toss dead ground beef. Oh, the worst when people are thinking they're getting the better healthy beef, if there's such a thing. Oh my, 100% carbon neutral raised grass fed ground beef. Oh my, Forward Farms. Oh, 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 this is bad because this is also what, again, food you can't eat, trust your organic, nothing. You start throwing some boxes in the backyard. There you go. Here you are, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out. All right. I'll put it in there twice just for you guys so you can check it out. All right. Let's go. Highs are predictable. I don't I don't know how. You guys already know this. You had 2 years. We knew it's an upside. It's gonna keep going. It's not gonna slow down. The reason why the people with the money are investing in assets and they have more of the money. So therefore, they can keep pouring money in. They can shares of stock to make their stock price go up. So then the stock price is worth more. Then they use that stock to buy even more stocks or buy corporations that can help them consolidate the market. You understand there's a consolidation move right now. That's why I told you guys you only have 11 months, 26 days left to make sure you get your piece of the pie. After that, you'll be fine. But it's going to be a rough road if you don't. All right. So make sure you smash that like button. If you like what I'm talking about, please subscribe to the channel. Click the all notification bell. Let's go. Okay, here we go. MDA 0214 in the house. Another investor is here. Stocks, stock trading. He checks financials, as everybody should do your research when you do investments. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening, or comments. Heard someone mention the wheel option. That is correct. That is what post-retirement travel uses. A new name for selling options. No technical analysis needed and very smart overall. I would recommend that over day trading for most. There we go. The wheel option is what post-retirement travel uses. So thank you so much for mentioning that. We've been waiting. I still have, the funny part is since I was checking out stock trading and doing this, there's been no video that ever popped up saying wheel option. Nothing's ever showed up. So maybe I have to actually put in wheel option and look for it. Then maybe it'll start showing up. And then maybe I'll get some of these ads on my phone talking about, hey, you want to do some option trading? We use the wheel strategy, right? But thank you for mentioning that. And once again, there's the link to the health ground beef recall. That's right. They're trying to hurt you, kill you, and then take away your health care. E. coli, you're at the hospital. Seriously. And they don't charge you $1,000, $2,000 anymore at the hospital, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So you can't get sick in any significant fashion. You can get a virus. You can do little stuff like that and be fine, But let yourself be caught up in a viral infection and have to sit in the hospital for 3, 4 days. The bill is not 2 G's. All right. It's not $500. Okay. This is not the nonprofit healthcare system before the 1970s that your grandparents or your parents were a part of growing up, where things were like, oh, yeah, here's $20 and we're good. That was nonprofit. GOP, Nixon, Kaiser. I gave you three people to go check out: GOP, Nixon, Kaiser. Do your homework and you will find out they changed it because Kaiser talked Nixon as governor into, hey man, why don't we just do this thing ourselves? We can have insurance and I can have my own hospitals and we can make this worldwide. He's like, as they say, bet. Why do we want to allow people not have to pay insurance? And by the way, we can now do insurance too. Now we can make them pay insurance, make it for profit. Forget all this other stuff. Why are we helping US citizens like that? Go do your homework, ladies and gentlemen. Then you start getting a little riled up like I do when you know information, you know the facts of the situation. How do we get here? Is how it happened late 1960s. That's how we get here. Why your healthcare is effed up. That's how we get here. Then we get here after the Affordable Care Act. And then what does GOP do? They make sure that you don't have insurance on the exchanges. So what do you do if you have 15 exchanges and then all of a sudden you say, nah, we're going to take off half of them? They're competing against each other. So if you take off half of them, people in Florida know what I'm talking about because you have a limited amount of insurance that you can have. So once they limit that, now all of a sudden, those remaining insurance companies, they collude, your prices rise. Then you go, oh, this thing doesn't work. No, the thing worked. You just had some people against you, American citizens. Wake up. All right, enough. I won't get into this anymore because I start getting a little pissed off. Because again, the stock market is rising today, which means a lot of people are going to be in the salsa dance situation. All right. 30 states are in CDC's worst tier for flu as super variant spreads. 30 states. What did I tell you about your health care? Health is wealth. Keep playing around. Don't have coverage. And by the United States government, that concept of a plan that they have still rolling, and they decided to yank 15 to 20 million people's health care from them. That is effed up. Effed up. And the people that are able to afford it are paying 2 to 4x. That is some sick stuff. This is the sickest stuff I've ever seen in my lifetime. A government that's, you know what it used to be? A government against Mexicans, Latinos, Asians, black people. Now the government has included white people. This is what's so funny. This is what's, it used to be, we're going to make sure they live in this, make sure they don't get funding. But they're like, F it. We're just going to go for everybody. We'll just make sure the top 20 are going to be fine. If you can get here, come along for the ride. But if you can't here, we ain't going to help you. It's so funny to watch. We knew it was going to happen again. Timeline. You got another year left. All right, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. There's the 30 states. The super flu is here. And a lot of you got it 4 months ago.